this video, I'm going to be explaining how I got my client to $61,000 in the matter of 15 days and how you can do that as a clothing brand owner yourself. Now, I'm going to be going over the exact strategy, where the client was before, as well as the overall analytics of this drop. During this video, we're going to be going over two drops. The first drop when we started working together, and the second drop, which was in November, and how we actually managed to get $61,000 for this client. So now we're going to go over to the MacBook, and I'm going to break down the exact strategy. As you can see right here, $61,000 was generated for this client within the matter of 15 days. The conversion rate is sitting at a 2.9%, and we also have an AOV of $86. Now, a good chunk of this actually came from PostScripts itself. Around $35,000 actually came from PostScripts. Later on in the video, I'm going to explain why SMS and email marketing is actually so beneficial for clothing brand owners. From the ads itself, we managed to bring back $17,700. As you can see right here, 22x return on ad spend with a $4 cost per purchase. So in this video, we're going to be going over the client background, the initial strategy that was used for both drops, as well as the overall analytics. So, where was the client before he started working with me? That is a great question. Before we get into that, I'm going to give some overall initial background on this client. So he is a streetwear clothing brand owner, and he has insane products, very, very good products, but he just did not know how to market his products correctly and the right way. So that is why he came to me. Before he started working with me, he was barely able to get $1,000 in the past 6 months. Now that's actually insane if you really think about it. A brand who cannot get $1,000 or even past $1,000 within the span of 6 months, obviously something is broken within the system, the back end, the offer, or the website, or it could be all of it. So in this video, I'm going to explain what was actually wrong with this client's brand. As you can see, January 1st to August 31st, only $732. The conversion rate was not the best, and the average order value was also not the best. We wanted to fix both of these things up and make them ultimately higher. So we're going to go over the previous marketing attempts and why they actually ended up failing. First things first is he boosted posts. And now if you're a brand owner and you boost posts, you're wasting your money. Boosting posts is probably the worst thing you can do for your brand, because you are throwing money into Instagram and you're not getting anything in return. Now, let me explain and why I think that, and why ultimately that is true. Boosted posts frequently is going to lead to engagement. It's going to lead to a lot of likes, shares, comments, overall eyes, people who are going to see your brand, but it's not actually going to get you purchases. So there's going to be no purchasing intent when you boost a post. There's absolutely no targeting structure at all, no pixel tracking, and there's no funnel behind the entire thing. And that's why I think boosting a post is actually so pointless, because you are losing money while doing so. You are essentially paying for likes and not buyers. Why would you throw money into a boosted post when you can actually run real ads, which are going to be targeted? There's going to have a funnel behind it, and you are going to be able to track absolutely everything with the Metapixel. Now, the second marketing attempt was they actually tried to run ads themselves, but there was no real strategy set into place. Now, if you go over here really quickly, you can see that they tried to run ads, but they didn't perform the best. 0.63 return on ad spend, which means they were either breaking even or they were losing money. These campaigns that he ran were not structured at all. What I mean by this is the campaigns that he was running were not structured. He had one campaign, one ad set, and one ad within that singular ad set. And now with the ad that he was running, we're not tailored for any sort of streetwear demand at all. He kind of just put together a photo and he kind of threw it into the ads manager hoping for the best. If you do that, you have no ad that is structured, you don't have creatives that are tailored or set for a specific marketing angle, you are not going to get any return on it. That's where a lot of people get confused when they run ads, because they think that just because the product is good, they can throw it into the ads manager, any random photo or video, and it's going to perform the best. That's not the case. Now, the third thing he tried to do was he only leveraged organic marketing. Organic marketing works very, very, very well if your messaging is on point and if your content is on point. Now, at the time, his content and his messaging were not the best. Now, with working with me, he is having consistent posts blow up, and his organic content is doing very good, which is why the ads are doing very good, because we use that organic content that is performing well. We throw that into the ads manager, and result, that made us $17,000. Now let's get into the biggest challenges that this client faced. Now, he had inconsistent sales, he had a stagnant SMS list, he had low site conversions, and he had a no clear drop strategy to build hype or demand. Now, going into this, I knew exactly what I had to do. You know, he had inconsistent sales, he had a stagnant SMS list, low site conversions, and no clear drop strategy. So low site conversions, obviously something is up with the website. Inconsistent sales, like I said, these two kind of go hand in hand together. If you're getting inconsistent sales, that means something is wrong with the website or the offer. Stagnant SMS list, people don't care to sign up for your SMS list if you don't have a good offer. Now that's exactly what I had to do, is I needed to tweak and redo his offer for people to actually sign up for the SMS list. Like I said, before he was working with me, the brand did not have a back-end structure. The offer strategy was not clear, and he did not have a marketing foundation to generate predictable results. So therefore, he did not have a clear system to generate results daily or even monthly. Whatever the case may be, he really didn't have anything when I got into this. So here's everything that this brand needed from me. They needed a new incentive or offer to actually grow their SMS list. And if you're a brand and you're watching this video, stop doing 10% off. If your incentive for people to actually sign up for your SMS list is only 10% off, I'm sorry, but a lot of people are not going to sign up for that. Every single brand only does 10% off. From a consumer standpoint, if I was just scrolling on Instagram, I get hit with an ad, and it's a brand who wants me to plug in my personal information in return for them to pitch me, whatever the case may be. The incentive has to be very good in order for me to do that, so it cannot be 10% off, because 10% off is really nothing if you think about it. They needed a high converting website built completely from scratch, and that's actually the first thing that I did for this client, is I rebuilt his entire website from scratch. And then obviously, as we keep doing more drops, I keep adding more things, switching up the messaging, seeing what's working, seeing what's not, and going from there. They needed a clear drop strategy, pre-drop hype, and structure. Like I said, this is the first thing that I do for my clients, is once I sign a client, they go through the onboarding. They book a strategy call with me. From there, basically tell them the entire strategy and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to make their brand successful. And when I do this, I'm not being vague with it. I'm going very in-depth on how we're going to do it. Next is messaging. So they needed better messaging that actually aligned with their audience. And once he actually changed the messaging with the organic content as well as just the ads in general, we saw things grow at an exponential rate. He also needed back-end systems, so for example, PostScripts, SMS, and email marketing, and a full optimization plan to identify what was holding the brand back. These two right here, they kind of go hand in hand. So our starting point was rebuilding the entire ecosystem that the brand relied on. So for example, the website, SMS flows and campaigns, positioning, and drop structure, with the goal of creating the first truly scalable and profitable drop. The goal was really simple, but we needed to execute it properly. Section 2, we are now going to be going over the initial strategy that I used for drop 1 as well as drop 2. So for drop 1, the strategy was very simple. This was the foundation drop. The main objective was to validate demand, build an audience, and create a functioning ecosystem that could scale in the future. So the main goal of this drop was to actually build an audience. We were not focused on getting sales. I mean, obviously we were focused on getting sales, but the main focus was actually building up that audience so that way they can convert into actual buyers. The key components of this strategy was having an organic first approach. So the client pushed consistent organic content to warm up existing followers. So this was on Instagram and TikTok. And we did not do any paid scaling yet, we just focused on proof of concept. Second was going to be building the SMS list before the actual drop. So what I did on my end is I ran paid traffic campaigns solely to collect SMS signups. I introduced a new reason to opt-in offer so people actually wanted to join. They actually had a reason to join. The messaging in the ads that I actually ran matched that as well, so we got a lot of people to actually sign up. And like I said, this created the brand's first real owned audience. Number 3 was a conversion-focused drop day plan. This structured a simple but effective launch. So for example, the timing, messaging, and scarcity. And then lastly, post-drop performance review and optimization plan. So after the 10-day drop, because the site was only open for 10 days because of production and, him selling out, we managed to get 6.7K total, had his first 1.6K day. That was on day 1. And then I delivered a full Myro breakdown, basically explaining what he needed to do in order to make the next drop even better. For example, just one thing that I added in that Myro board is he needed to switch up his ad creatives. So with the new Meta update, for example, Meta is favoring ad accounts who are pushing a mass volume of creatives. So I told him he basically needed multiple different creatives, a bunch of creatives with different marketing angles, so that way I can test them. That is just one thing that I put on there. We are going to get into the drop 2 strategy. This was the scale drop. The main objective of this drop was to leverage the rebuilt ecosystem, but we did this with better offers and more demand to create a breakout drop. This drop right here is what ultimately made my client's brand really known, because we did $61,000 in the month of November. Just before that, he only did $6,000 in the month of October. Key components of this strategy was obviously high converting website rebuild. I do this for all of my clients and with every single drop that they have. I fully optimize the site specifically for that drop. I simplified the checkout flow. I also improved the product page structure, and I added trust, urgency, and better visuals. Second was going to be a drop day offer that actually drives conversions. So we created a much stronger, more compelling offer for the actual drop day. We created clear urgency and scarcity by using announcement bar timers. We switched up the messaging, and we also did cart timers as well. We did a lot of FOMO messaging optimized for streetwear buyers, obviously. This offer was actually the backbone of having that 16.1K day, and that was on day 1. Third was daily SMS list growth at scale. So we ran traffic campaigns that grew the SMS list by 200 people per day, which is absolutely insane. This stacked demand every single day leading up to the drop, and this also warmed them up with pre-drop reminders and hype messages. We weren't just growing the SMS list daily by running traffic campaigns. What we actually did is we built the hype up for this drop so well that on drop day we got 16.1K in sales. But not only that, leading up to the drop, we were continuously sending out messages so people were aware that, you know, we're dropping soon, the brand is dropping soon, they need to be ready for the drop. Essentially reminding people that the brand is still there. Fourth, like I said, high volume ad creatives and new angles. So we rolled out mass creatives for testing. We had a new style, new angles, and different hooks. We had higher quantity of ad creatives, which we can result what is going to be the winners, and we can find out what the winners are actually going to be. And this is going to result in more conversions, because once we find out what works, we can spend more with the ads, and we can throw more of a budget into the ads and just create new variations of that. And then fifth, final last piece is going to be pre-drop warm-up sequence. So this kind of goes hand in hand with this over here, and also goes hand in hand with this down here. So we had SMS warming messages. So like I said, we were sending out campaigns before the drop was actually there and live. We had hype building content. So this is what my client was doing on his end. He had a lot of organic content that was being pushed out daily. And in result, you know, people went to his SMS list and signed up because the offer was so good. And then, like I said, we had consistent hooks across all channels. Now we are going to be going over the analytics for everything. For the ads, it's pretty simple. Pre-drop, we were trying to build the SMS list, gain traffic, and awareness. So for that, we were doing traffic campaigns. For the actual drop, we were doing sales campaigns. The ads launch, we were scaling creatives, and we were testing mass volume of creatives. And then bottom of funnel, this is like after the drop, retargeting and just securing those customers who know the brand but just did not buy yet. So this is creating an irresistible offer. So let's go into drop 1. This is going to be in October. These are going to be the Meta ad campaign metrics. Meta did not release its new update yet, the Andromeda update, as you guys know. So basically the structure of this was a lot different than what the structure of the November campaigns were. But for this campaign, I had one campaign with 3 different ad sets. As you can see right here, these are the 3 different ad sets, and this was the amount spent for this drop. The ROAS on this drop, we maintained an average of 6.81. Obviously, that is a very good increase compared to what he was doing before he started working with me. We got a total of 55 sales. We spent $482 to bring back $3,289, and obviously an $8 cost per purchase. And the way that these were structured is with one ad set, it was top of funnel. With the second ad set, it was middle of funnel. And then with the third ad set, it was bottom of funnel. So like I said, with bottom of funnel, we just had an irresistible offer. This goes hand in hand with here, set into place. Now this is the Shopify dashboard and the results of that. Obviously October 3rd is when he actually dropped, and he managed to get 1.6k in total sales. Obviously the conversion rate went up by a lot, 4.9%, because I redid his entire website. The average order value was still a bit low, so we needed to get that up, and that's what I did for the next drop that we had. With the total time of the site being open, October 3rd to the 12th, we managed to bring back 6.7k in sales, 58 for an average order value, and then 2.2% in conversion rate. Like I said, this was a big increase for this client as well. This momentum we actually brought into the next drop. So let's get into drop 2. This was for November. These are going to be the meta ad campaign metrics. Like I said, this campaign was structured in a very different way. One campaign, one ad set, and we had 10 to 15 creatives within that singular ad set because of Meta's new update. We had a 22x return on ad spend, 198 website purchases with a $4 cost per purchase, and we managed to bring back $17,700, and we only spent around $700 to $800, I believe, to spend, but I will obviously show you guys that once I'm done with this. And then for the actual drop, the Shopify dashboard, November 15th to the 30th, his AOV ended up raising by like $20, it's 86. Total sales $61,000, and then conversion rate 2.9%. I am actually in his Shopify right now. I'm going to show you guys some of the key days that we had. Like I said right here, just so you guys can see that this is actually real and I do this shit. So on the day we dropped, which was the 15th, we get $16,000 in total sales, which is absolutely crazy. Average order value is obviously way higher than it was for last drop, and ultimately that was the goal we were going for. Another key date was Black Friday. We had our Black Friday sale on the 27th, running to the 30th. That weekend we did $19,000 in total sales. So now we're actually in the Meta Ads Manager. I'm going to go from the 15th to the 30th. So this campaign right here that we were running, like I said, we spent $794 to bring back $17,700, just so you guys can see in real time that I'm not capping about anything that I say. And then we're going to go over to the 27th to the 30th. This is when we were running the sale. We brought back $7,900 from that weekend with only spending $218. So we managed to get a 36 return on ad spend with a $2 cost per purchase. And for anyone who knows anything about ads, that's actually clinically insane, and these metrics are so good. And that just proves to you and proves to anyone that if you have a good marketing team behind your brand who is actually running the ads and knows what they are talking about, these numbers are so achievable and they are so possible for any brand who has a good product. Because all you need is someone to come into your business who could redo the website, redo the offer, and run good ads for your business. But like I said, that's exactly how we were able to generate $61,000 in the matter of 15 days for this clothing brand client. Now, if you're watching this and you're a clothing brand owner who wants to work with me, click the link down below in the description, or you can go to my Instagram and just DM me.